Welcome back to The Perspective. I'm Blaise Hope, and with me in the studio is Angelyn Ardiwinata from GEPI, talking about promoting entrepreneurship in Indonesia. But we want to talk about a boot camp that you went to in Silicon Valley.
That's right. I just got back from a boot camp organized by SWATA. So SWATA is short for Silicon Valley Asia Technology Alliance. It's a new nonprofit that is founded by 6 people. So Shinta Danuwardoyo, Sonita Lonto, Alex Beckman, Felice Beckman. Sorry, that's 4.
4 people, okay.
4
sure.
people. And they wanted to build better connection between Asia and Silicon Valley. So their first step is to bring some Indonesians to Silicon Valley, and I was one of the participants.
How many went?
About 8 went. Yeah, 8. So there are some entrepreneurs and some venture capital people. On the entrepreneurs, there is a Doni from Happy 5, and then there's Fajrin from Bukalapak. And then from the VC side, there's Abraham from Skystar. We have one more entrepreneur who joined us. It was Michael Lutuhai, and he's starting a new startup. And we also actually have the head of Jakarta Post Digital joining us there.
Nice. To cover it?
I'm not sure. Perhaps just to better understand the startup sector.
Well, how long was it?
It was a week trip.
What did you do?
Basically, we went around meeting key players in Silicon Valley in the startup scene. So we went to see. We started with seeing the law firms that support startups. So like Hogan Lovells. Apparently, and that was interesting because we find that they have an Indonesian representative, and here in Indonesia, we've been trying hard to find a good law firm that specializes in startups. So it's good to know that their presence is here. And then we also went to see the top companies, Apple, Facebook, Google, and the ones rising up, Pinterest. We also went to meet Acompli that just got bought by Microsoft for $200 million in 1.5 years. So that was very interesting to get their perspective.
Do you just do you get in there and kind of sort of shake hands with the executives, or do you get to sort of see the way they do things?
More on the former. Yeah.
Getting the
Simple
contacts.
Meeting. Yeah, simple meeting.
How often do they intend to have this?
Well, just by talking to them, I think their next step is to actually bring people from Silicon Valley to Indonesia.
So what did you learn? Like, what do you take back with you from an experience like that?
Definitely a lot learned from my trip there. For example, because GEPI runs incubation programs, so we got to meet Y Combinator, which is a top training program for startups, and we also went to see 500 startups, which is also sort of like a training program for startups, and just to see the comparison, how they run things, how they train startups, is very interesting for me. For example, Y Combinator is a lot of the training is hands-off. So basically, you have open office hours to meet your mentor, and then they invite you for dinner once a week for a sharing session. Whereas 500 startups, on the other hand, they have everything. Like they even have an accent coach that helps international startup participants try to speak more like an American because perhaps it helps them grow their startups better there.
To sound like they're from Silicon Valley?
Yeah, perhaps it helps them, talk to people better, or yeah.
What do you think are the major issues or the differences that you'd see that you'd like to see changed between Silicon Valley and the startup scene in its sort of infancy here?
Yeah, I think it all goes back, for me personally, to education. I think the startups in Silicon Valley can be so successful because Stanford University, Berkeley University, the professors there very much encourage their students to start startups and help them whatever ways they can make the connections needed. And I don't see that a lot yet here, and so it would be great to have our education institutions focus on helping more students go into startups.
Do you think this is a question of the technical universities like ITB, or is it something that the big ones, University of Indonesia, need to be focusing on?
I think in any universities, because it's not just about tech startup, but our Indonesia has so much natural resources. We need a lot of businesses that are successful in terms, from agriculture, from fishery. It doesn't only have to be tech.
Yeah. Although do you see the current kind of competition? What are the most, for you, the startups that most stand out in Indonesia?
Right now, the startup that most stand out, I think I can only probably say in terms of the startups that I've seen at GEPI. So we have Zimi.tv that recently secured $1 million. The founder worked for Lazada before that, and I think he's very focused on his startup. Sometimes you get to see sort of the atmosphere at GEPI, which startup founders are very focused and which startup founders are not very focused. And then eventually, there's a natural selection there. Those who are not focused eventually leave the scene, and those who are very focused get investment and grow their startup. So Zimi.tv is definitely one. Also, Bornevia, which is a software company. They also recently received investment and moved to their own office. So that's the kind of growth we like to see, that they started out at GEPI, a small team, and eventually grow their team and have their own office, build their own culture.
What's the sort of cycle time for the natural selection to take place? How long does a startup need to be there to realize that it's sort of not in the right place, or that it is?
So I think it varies. For us at GEPI, Ciputra GEPI Incubator, at least because we're located in South Jakarta, a lot of the people that come to us for support is tech startups. And in tech, everything happens so quickly because there's not a lot of, capital injection needed. It's just a website usually, right? So we see a lot of progress already in 6 months. So we actually set a limit. The incubation is for 6 months, and if they need still some support, we extend that to a maximum of 1 year. And then we hope that they can already move and find their own office.
If you want to sort of spreading your wings a bit, how do you? We talk about spreading to other cities. Do you see sort of opening up a smaller shop, kind of in North Jakarta, that would focus on sort of startups that focus on logistics or shipping, or do you just see it as you just need a center within a single city, and that's enough? I'm curious as to how.
Sorry, is that for startups or for GEPI?
For GEPI, yeah, for startups. What I mean is, would you open an office near Tanjung Priok?
I think for us, we really emphasize the importance of collaboration, partnerships. So I don't think GEPI can do everything and open all our offices around Jakarta. It would be great to have somebody that lives there that wants to open one and supports entrepreneurship there. And we're open to helping them launch their office there.
But it's really about bringing people together.
Yeah. Also, I think it's different in Silicon Valley, where it's so easy to get together. And here, you're very limited to your area because of traffic and all that. So when you live here, you just sort of live in your bubble, and then when you're in North Jakarta, you don't come down to South often. So it is good to have an office there.
Okay. Well, we're going to go to break, but we'll be right back with Angelyn Ardiwinata.